They tell me I had a wild imagination as a child. I saw shapes in the clouds and made dolls with clover flowers and catalpa blossoms that fell to the ground from the tree in my grandparents' yard. We were three generations in one home, and it was a time when children were to be seen and not heard. The wildness of my imagination was not encouraged, and over time it was tamed and redirected. Imagination is something we all have and use every day. The challenge is to imagine the higher turn rather than being held back by imagining the worst as we take each step through the winding path of life. If we are fortunate, we either remember the essence of our own childlike imagination, or we receive the gift of a child to be our muse. Grandma, did you know that there is a special bird that belongs to the goddess? And usually, really, the only time you see it is on the full moon. It is called a moonshine bird. It's white with some blue feathers. And at that moment, a white bird appeared in the sky over our yard, and just that quickly it disappeared. Imagination can and must be cultivated. When we are gifted with mystical experiences that validate what we have imagined, the meandering of the mind is refined, beautified, and restored to a universal path to the heart of beauty. My most inspired creations make no distinction between what is sacred and what is mundane. And because this work is intended to bridge generations, in my mind, my hands transform into my grandmother's as I sew, and I go slowly and remember her, calling her name, calling her into the process. And I pause and reflect and face a weighty question for a visionary or esoteric artist. Will what I create matter? When I bring that which flows from my imagination into form, will it make the world better, touch a life, or inspire others? As I work, I continue to bring forward the voices of my muses. Living again in a multi-generational home, I see and hear and encourage the imaginations of the children and the companionship of other joy bringers. I allow the vision to shift as global news touches deep, while painting flowers, the word of Indigenous children's bodies discovered in a mass grave spreads. I paint, I invoke Goddess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Only as the last flower was painted, I counted 212. There were 215 bodies of babes found in the first of many graves. When we create with the flow of inspiration and intuition, our focus must be less on perfection and more on the purpose. We pause at the unplanned and unintentional and reinterpret the seeming imperfections. Adding 3 more flowers would not make it perfect. Allowing each flower to represent multiples soon became the necessity. Within a labyrinth, the mundane becomes magical and the mystery becomes palpable. And while beauty with a capital B is beyond attainment, the intention of the journey, the walk, may bring us clarity of vision, balance, understanding, and meaning. Ultimately, the walk reveals why beauty must be imagined and aspired to, yet will always remain elusive. Beauty is that which is eminently greater than what we individually or collectively create. Through moments of awe and wonder, the moments that take our breath away, through the sensory experience or the mystical experience, we know beauty. And if we are truly touched through that experience, we may aspire to embody, enliven, or expand that energy. Beauty is in geometry, harmony, intelligence, and the consciousness of all that is. We see, hear, taste, smell, and feel beautiful things or experiences that range from a magnificent sunrise to a deeply moving poem. The sunrise is crafted by an intelligence beyond anything we can possibly attain, and yet the poem gives life to the human potential that results from the aspiration to beauty. There is a great danger in the loss of aspiration to beauty. The danger is in the diminished awareness of being connected through our sensory experiences to something that is eminently greater and far more beauty-filled than what creates daily distractions. If beauty is not known, we lose sight of the magnificence of a sunrise. We grow deaf to the harmony of beautiful music. We lose the taste for the sweetness of life. We ignore the fragrance of the rose. And when we touch another human being, our hands are cold and closed to the fragility of their skin. For some of us, carrying the energy of the aspiration to beauty is our calling. We serve a sacred purpose within community and family. Our walk, our message, our work is not about pretty, as it often calls us to openly share our own lack of grace, our unquestionable struggles, and our disheveled appearance. We recognize the danger in attempting to wrap an experience in the language of pretty or even beautiful, when in fact it was not. We serve by not masking painful experiences in platitudes or rushing past them because it is inconvenient to be present to what is. We support creative and imaginative ways to step into unifying patterns of wholeness. This path of service can only be anchored by a commitment to imagining and visioning something yet unseen. Countless brothers and sisters anchor their threads, their unique gifts and imperative works, and yet others weave all of our sacred offerings into life tapestries. There must be those who focus on creating what can yet only be imagined through the higher turning that aligns with beauty. And because beauty will always be elusive, our tapestry, our creative visioning will bring forth diverse expressions. And if we are blessed with the capacity to retain, remember, or restore our own youthful, wild imaginings, or if we are blessed with youthful muses to guide us, we may find ourselves called into a greater service.